Hey, what's up guys? It's TechZoomer talking to you here. And in today's video, I want to review the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Yes, finally, this is my Google Pixel 8 Pro review. After using this phone for 2 weeks, now I gotta tell you my opinion. Yes, I've switched back to my iPhone 15 Pro Max again. Finally, I couldn't wait for that moment. But I've got several good things to tell you about the Pixel 8 Pro. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, roll the intro. So, the Google Pixel 8 Pro has been a very good phone in the last 2 weeks. I will admit, I'm not an Android user, by far. But in the last 2 weeks, I've actually enjoyed using the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Yes, somewhat enjoyed. Because the Google Pixel 8 Pro is a really good Android phone. But that's where the problem is created, being an Android phone. I'm very used to use my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And not just about the iOS experience of the software that makes the iPhone 15 Pro Max really good, and in my opinion, perfect for me, is the fact that the ecosystem works so well. And that's where the problem lies, because I don't have the ecosystem to support the Google Pixel 8 Pro. And so, at the end of the day, this cannot work with my ecosystem as my iPhone 15 Pro Max does. Again, if you have a Pixel ecosystem, so a Google ecosystem, you have the Google Assistant as your assistant, you have the Google Nest Home, you have the Pixel Watch, the Google Buds, then everything will work out, most likely. Because I'm not sure if Google has figured out the ecosystem just like Apple did. But if Google has figured out the ecosystem just like Apple's, then if you have the Google ecosystem, the Google Pixel 8 Pro will be an amazing phone. Although there are some things that I think the Google Pixel 8 Pro could improve, I do actually believe that this has several advantages over most Android phones and some over the iPhone. So let's talk about them. The first thing that I actually enjoyed much on the Google Pixel 8 Pro is the amazing display. Yes, although the one thing that annoys me the most on this phone is the fact that it doesn't have even bezels, the bezels here are pretty thin and the display is really bright and promotion works really well. This display is one of the best displays on the market, and if you account for the brightness that is capable to reach, then 2400 nits is madness. So this display is super bright, outside it's going to be amazing. This display is one of the best on the market. I do believe still my iPhone 15 Pro Max display is still better, and the Samsung S23 Ultra display is also better. But this is top 3 best displays out there. So if you have a Google Pixel 8 Pro, congrats, your phone has one of the best displays on the market, in my opinion. Obviously, Google was never known for having the best hardware on the market. But now, if it has a top 3 display, then it's a huge advantage because Google software is really good. And that brings me to the next point of this phone, battery life. Battery life on the Google Pixel 8 Pro is really good. Like, oh my god, it's top of the notch. This is one of the best batteries I've ever used on a phone, coming from a Pixel. You don't know how weird it is to me to tell you this, because Pixel normally doesn't have the best battery, normally. But this year, with the Google Pixel 8 Pro, it's incredible. It has a 5000 mAh battery size, but it's not even that. It's the fact that the software optimization powered together with an amazing and very optimized display, and I think that you have perfection. The battery life on the Google Pixel 8 Pro is really good. It's almost like 2 days battery life. It's as good as my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, if I don't use it very hard, with a lot of very power-intensive apps or record a lot of video, then my iPhone will last me 2 days, no issues. And the Pixel is the same thing. If I don't actually record 4K video very often, do not take that much photos or play that much games for tons of hours, very intensive tasks, then the Google Pixel 8 Pro will last me 2 days. So I do believe that for most people, this battery life is incredible. 2 days for a battery on a phone is ridiculous. The Google Pixel 8 Pro nails the battery, again, because of the optimization of Android for the silicon, the G3 Tensor chip here is really good. I think that it could be faster, it could be more powerful, but Google is not known again for having the best hardware, but to have the best software. And I think now, having its own chip, its own hardware on its own phone, now with Android being optimized to the G3, it actually increases the battery life very much. So I think that that's one of the best advantages of having the G3 Tensor, Google's hardware on a Google's phone with Google's Android. So you can now see why Apple is successful, and Google is trying to apply the same formula to the Pixel. And I think in a few years we will get the result. But until now, But until then, we gotta deal with these bumps on the way. I do still believe that the G3 could be more powerful. It's still not powerful enough in my opinion. Sometimes when you are using the UI or using the AI features on the Google Pixel 8 Pro, it slows down very, very much. Especially when using Magic Eraser, it could be much, much faster. And if you use it on the iPhone, sometimes whenever Google Photos enables it in the future, you will see that it will be much, much faster. So again, the Google Pixel 8 Pro G3 chip is not powerful enough in my opinion, but with the optimization that you get on the software side, the battery life becomes incredible. So some good advantages, some not that great, but at the end of the day, I do believe it's a net positive to have the G3 here. Obviously, this phone could have the Snapdragon chip, just like older Pixels did. But then that would cost you optimization, that would cost you battery life at the cost of performance. And older Pixels were known to have the Snapdragon chip, the older generation in terms of the current year, but still, they were not powerful enough and they had bad battery life. So I think it was a good compromise from Google to invest in their own hardware, to invest on the G chip Tensor line and actually create a good Tensor chip that will be very efficient like Apple's, but also very powerful like Apple's chips. So at the end of the day, Google, you have tons of work to do, but I do believe the Tensor chip is the future of the Google Pixel. So good job on creating your own hardware. At least you are doing something right, unlike other Android companies. Especially Samsung, take some notes from Google. Still, I do have more good things to tell you about this phone, especially the cameras. The cameras on this phone are really, really good. Especially the photo side on this phone is incredible. Night mode, or like Google likes to call it, night sight. It's really, really good. Taking that pixel look out of the photos is insane. I love it. I did not know that the pixel photos were this good. Before I was saying, yeah, it has the pixel look, but whatever. Now, after taking hundreds of photos with this phone, I'm addicted. The look of the photos of the Pixel are really, really good. It has this special tone that I don't know how to explain, that it looks amazing, looks sharp. It's almost like addicting. It's almost like sugar. It's really, really addicting. But again, this Pixel camera is really good at taking photos, and I can confirm that. The photos at daylight, they look amazing. The photos at night, they look amazing. The portrait photos look good. The 5x telephoto, it has a 5x, it's really good. The ultra-wide is also really good. Every single lens on this phone is amazing. It has a 50 megapixel main camera, a 50 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide. So it's a very complete camera system for taking photos. Where it actually is not that great is at video. Although Google has told us that this Google I/O, they improved the actual video capabilities of this phone, I couldn't agree. Because it's not still on par with the iPhone. Especially now that the iPhone can record 4K log ProRes, it's a no-brainer. The iPhone has a much, much better video system, and the Google, probably one of the best on the Android side, but still very much behind the iPhone on the video side. Again, the video here, it has that smartphone look. Although Google says that you can wait and the video will be uploaded to Google Photos and processed for better image and better results, I do believe that's happening, but still, it's not good enough. In my opinion, the video on the Google Pixel 8 Pro, it's good, better than most Android phones, but it can't even reach the ankles of the iPhone. So, those were all the good things that I needed to tell you about the Google Pixel 8 Pro. So, let's now run down the list of the things that I did not enjoy one bit about this phone. First, it was the design. The design of the Google Pixel 8 Pro, I understand, is polarizing. For me, it's not amazing. It's not even beautiful. And for most people that I interacted with, they said that they hated the camera bump. The camera bump here is weird. Because at first, before I used it, I thought it was a really good camera bump. If you place it on a flat thing, it doesn't rock, and it's different than most phones. Now, most phones almost look the same. And having this camera bump being different is refreshing to look. But after 2 weeks of using it, God damn it, I gotta tell you, I don't like it a lot. And most people that I interacted with talked about and handed the phone for them to experience, they said the same thing, that this camera bump is too big, it's too sharp, it's too different for them to be actually accustomed and to enjoy it. I think that most people won't like this camera bump. And that creates an issue, because if you want to hit the mass market, you have to have a general design created. You have to have a very well-loved design, and a design very easy to recognize. And Google does at least one of these things, which is a very easily recognizable design. This design, when you look at it, you say, it's a Pixel right away. But when you start using it, And I know most people on the comments down below will say, oh, I love this camera bump, it's amazing, I don't care what you say, it's amazing camera bump. Well, I'm just telling you what was my experience, telling you my opinion, and telling you what most people told me when I handed the phone to them. So most people, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that I've handed the phone to, have said the same thing. I think that the camera bump is kind of weird. I don't like it. It's really sharp. It's big. It's different. I don't enjoy it. I much prefer my iPhone, much prefer my Samsung's camera bump. I don't know. It was their experience. And so if 8 out of the 9 or 10 people that I handed the phone have complained about the camera bump, it's not a good sign, Google. It's not a good sign. As for me, I don't like it. I don't mind it though, but again, it's a very subjective thing. If you like it, then great, no problem. If you don't like it, it will only grow. This problem will only grow with time. So if you don't like this camera bump, do not buy this phone. Another thing that was a huge gimmick with the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and since the first day that I've been telling you this, is the temperature sensor. It's this little thing right here. This is the temperature sensor. This is terrible. This is one of the biggest gimmicks on a phone ever. It's a waste of hardware, waste of money for everyone, for Google, for us, because it does not work. It's not reliable enough for me to use it. It's a cool gimmick to have. Oh, I can measure the temperature of objects with my phone. It's a really cool thing to say, but in reality, it's not even accurate for like 1 degree. It will vary for 2, 3, 4 degrees. And if you are measuring some type of object between 0 and 4, it's not a big thing. But if you are measuring human temperature, like for a fever or something, 36 degrees from 38 degrees Celsius, it's a difference between not having a fever and having a fever. So if you are not accurate to the degree, then why are you implementing this feature? I don't think this will pass the entities that regulate this thermometer thing to measure human temperature. I don't think it will because it's not accurate enough. So improve it next time, make it extremely accurate, or remove it. But if I had to bet on Google and what will they do, I think they will remove it next generation. I think they actually like to implement these things to experiment, just like they did with the sensor on the front with the Google Pixel 4, with the gestures, if I'm not wrong. And then on the Google Pixel 5, they removed it. I think they will remove it next generation. Unless they have something hidden, some hidden use to this temperature sensor in the future that I'm not seeing. But until then, I pretty much don't use it. It's a huge gimmick, in my opinion. And finally, the thing, or one of the things that I don't like the most on this phone is the aluminum sides. These ones are a personal pet peeve of mine because I've been using the Google Pixel 8 Pro for the last few weeks with the aluminum sides. And I've gotten used to having titanium or stainless steel on my sides of the phone with the iPhone 14, 13 Pro Max, or even the iPhone 15 Pro Max with titanium. But in the last few weeks of using aluminum, and especially shiny aluminum, I've gotten pissed off, like more than I ever got with sides of a phone. Because yes, this is aluminum, takes tons of fingerprints because it's shiny. I like aluminum sides that are not shiny, like the iPhone 14, 13, or 15. But the shiny ones, they piss me off. They don't have the build quality of stainless steel, and so they don't have the reason to be shiny. Don't make your aluminum sides shiny. They do not look more premium because of they are shiny, and they are much, much worse to clean. So, Google, take the example of the Pixel 8 and put those incredible matte aluminum sides on the Pixel 8 Pro. You have the matte glass, just put aluminum matte sides on this phone, and the design will be much, much more bearable. But again, you cannot do it. The camera bump gets super fingerprinty, the sides get huge amounts of fingerprints. Everywhere is a fingerprint. I cannot tell you, it's super, super annoying. And to finish up my list of the things that I don't enjoy with the Pixel 8 Pro is the side buttons. I don't know if I can show you this. Let me try to show you. Again, as you can see, they have the buttons on the same side, the unlock button and the volume buttons. This is super annoying because most of the time I confuse these buttons because I'm trying to unlock my phone, I turn up the volume. I'm trying to turn down the volume, I lock my phone. This is annoying. Why are you doing this, Google? Put the buttons on different sides. Really easy. I'm using my phone with one hand. I want to lock my phone this side. I want to choose the volume buttons this side. Apple has done this for years. You have done this on last generations. Most people use iPhones. So most people are used to have buttons on different sides. And so if you want to conquer that demographic, you have to appeal to that demographic. Do not do this on your next phone. This is a recommendation from a reviewer, for someone that understands phones and understands the market. And so, if you want to catch more Apple users from their iPhones, switch, make the Google feel like an iPhone. Not look like an iPhone, you can look unique. You don't need to look like an iPhone to switch people from iPhone. Actually, do not make the Google Pixel 8 Pro look like an iPhone. That would be a mistake. But make it feel like an iPhone. Feel super premium. Feel super easy to use. Be super intuitive. And especially, do not change things up, because if you want to, don't. Make the buttons on different sides. It will be much easier to differentiate. You don't need to create an action button. That's a gimmick on the iPhone, but you need to separate these two sides. And if you want, put a ringer switch here. It's a very, very useful feature. Other than that, I don't have anything more to complain about the Google Pixel 8 Pro. It's an excellent phone, other than the terrible camera bump in my opinion, and of course, the video not being that great, and the price and the fact that it doesn't feel like a very premium phone in the hand. So, that's it. I don't think I have any more things to complain about the Google Pixel 8 Pro, other than the fact that it doesn't feel that much premium when compared to the iPhone. It's a $1,200 or $1,100 phone, depending where you buy it, or your country, wherever. In my country, it's $1,100. In the US, I think it's $1,000. Still, it doesn't feel like a $1,000 phone. The Google Pixel 8 Pro has this issue, and I've talked about that on several videos that I've talked about the Google Pixel 8 Pro. It doesn't feel like a premium phone, but it performs like a premium phone. It performs like a flagship, and that's something very, very important for people that buy this phone. It's more about performance, not about looks, not about feeling. And the Google Pixel 8 Pro achieves that with an A grade. It's super fast, super responsive, although in some tasks it can stutter a bit. Most of the time, the Pixel 8 Pro is a A grade performer. Other than that, the phone is really good. Amazing display, the design could be better, it has Face Unlock, it has Touch ID. Oh, and I forgot, this was one of the biggest things that I did not enjoy about the Pixel 8 Pro. How could I forget about this? Is the fingerprint reader. It's terrible, terrible. It doesn't work like 50% of the time. This is one of the biggest complaints that I have about the Pixel. How could I be forgetting about this? Sorry, if you were waiting until the end of the video, or if you did not watch until the end of the video, then it's a bonus for you, a bonus rant. The fingerprint reader here works terribly. It's insane how bad it is. I don't know if because it's optical, it needs to shine a light through your finger, but if I try to use it, most of the time it won't work. Like, one, it worked. Second time, does not work. Third time it worked, again, does not work, work again. So it's like a 50-50 option of it working or not working. And this is a problem because you want your main interaction with your phone, your main way to unlock your phone to be super reliable. Face ID, super reliable. This Face Unlock, not that much secure. It uses a picture of your face, not a 3D render of your face like Apple's. So it's just a picture. It's more secure than other Android phones, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's that great. So that's why I think that the fingerprint reader here should be better. It isn't, and it's a big, big shame. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Do you like it? Do you have one? Have you bought one? I think it's a good phone to buy if you only use Android phones. If I had to choose an Android phone, it would be the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Thankfully, I don't need to do so. I will use my iPhone for the foreseeable future. So let me know what you thought about the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.